What's going on, guys? I've got another deck profile here today. This one is going to be 5-color control, based on the list that Matt Cosmore posted on Force of Will US. Changed very few things just because it's such a solid deck to fit more of my meta. It's only like 2, maybe 3 cards. Don't really remember off the top of my head, but it's a really solid deck. You basically just prevent your opponent from playing the game the entire time, with stories told in 1001 Nights and things like that. So I'll go ahead and start with the ruler, Liberator of Wind, who then changes into Scheherazade, the teller of 1001 stories. So at the beginning of the game, after you resolve mulligans, you get to choose a stone and put it on top. Every time you're going to choose Moonshade, because it does produce all 5 colors. So you're going to choose this after you've resolved mulligans, and then hopefully you've got the Cheshire Cat or something like that to start accelerating your draw. But anyway, we play 2 of those to help kind of protect against bloody moons that might pop up. Then we've also got 4 Magic Stone of Moonlight. Can copy anything that Moonshade can produce, kind of like the City of Brass Reflecting Pool combination in Magic. We got other 2 stones are Magic Stone of Gusting Skies and 2 Magic Stone of Black Silence. Other than being green, I think these are probably interchangeable with any other green stone you want to play. I'm playing these just because I play some black cards in here that may or may not need to be used if something were to happen. So go ahead and start with the main deck now. So we've got 4 Cheshire Cat. You're playing blue, you should be playing her. 3 Sinbad. What you can do with him is when you play, if you have him on play and you Cheshire Cat, you can do 2 of his triggers instead of 1, or you can do 1 and draw a card. But regardless of what you do, you still have to return the 1 card from Cheshire, even if you don't draw any cards. We've got 2 Cinderella, the Ashen Maiden. That's why I play the Temple of Black Silence. Kind of want to get rid of all the mono red decks here locally. 3 Feathsing, she can produce any color as well. Protects you, you can block with it as well. This turn you bring it in. For win conditions, we've got 2 Mephistopheles and 2 Blazer. Had somebody, actually 1001 Stories this once, and it was kind of hilarious because I just played it again the next turn. There's not much I could really do about it. For normal spells, we've got 4 Thunder, 3 Flame of Outerworld. Our burn package is really strong here. We can deal with any rulers that we need to, or creatures in play. My favorite card in the deck, Stories Told in 1001 Nights. What it does is it would put target resonator on top of its owner's main deck. If your ruler is Liberator of Wind or Scheherazade, the teller of 1001 stories, remove it from the game and then search the controller's main deck, graveyard, and hand for all cards with the same name as and remove them from play instead. Then that player shuffles his or her main deck. So it's a really good card. So you basically choose what you think is their main threat, or just any problematic creature on the play, and remove it from the game, and all copies from the game included from their main deck, their hand, and their grave. What I usually do is I'll do that, and I'll get what information I can while searching their deck and their hand. I'll even write down their hand sometimes if it's something I might forget or if it's a big hand. But this card is definitely MVP of the deck. Basically makes them unable to win the game if you get rid of their win condition early. We got 4 Absolute Cake Zones, counter spells, control deck, made for each other. 3 Zeke, the Ancient Magic, counters their summon spells. And 3 Exceed the Ancient Magic. If you have Feathsing in play, you get draw a card. We do play Feathsing, so you will be drawing cards occasionally. We don't play Gretel in this deck because we've only played 4 Windstones, so it's not that big of a deal. Rest of the deck, we've got 2 Voice of the False God. I mainly use this to send Cheshire Cats back to the deck and draw 2 cards. And 2 Dream of Juliet. Destruction, Flicker. What I usually do with her is I'll play Blazer. See if I can find him real quick. Yeah, Blazer. I'll attack with him, and then I will also blink him to bring him back into play, and since he has swiftness, he can then attack again. So it's really good, quick 22, sometimes can be game ending. It just depends on how the game plays out, really. Maybe mess with the cards. And for the J Ruler, Scheherazade, the teller of 1001 stories, she comes into play and you get to search your deck for any card and put it into your hand. And then when you don't control any cards, or don't have any cards in your hand, you can tap her to draw 2 cards. She's got a lot of synergy with this stuff in the deck, since you do tend to run out of cards in your hand. I like her a lot. If I didn't have so many like mono red decks or aggro based decks in my local meta, I would definitely play this deck a lot more than I do Abdul. But it's just so hard to beat those decks, in my opinion, because they do rush you so fast, and there are several burn decks. And even with the amount of counter spells, it's hard to keep up and counter the correct things, and them not just blow you out with a split heaven and earth. And I know a lot of people have been complaining about that card. It's really not a big deal. Everyone, in my opinion, should play green of some sort, because the color is just so powerful. It's got the mana ramp and it's got the counter magic. There's just no reason to not play it other than you don't want to play green. And if you're not playing green, I don't think it's correct. That's not to sound pompous or anything, but green is just so overpowered in this game. It's basically blue like magic, where it's got the draw, it's got the counter magic, and just you have to play it to some extent. I know that's not completely true, because there are some decks in Magic that don't play green, like Abzan mid-range and things like that. But in this game, with us only having 3 sets, I feel green is absolutely necessary, because every top deck I've seen has green in it in some aspect, except for a few Grixis, which is black, blue, red decks and things like that, but they're still playing 2 of the 3 best colors. So anyway, let me know what you guys think of this deck. Thanks to Matt Cosmore, I hope I'm saying that right, for posting this deck to begin with and giving us all the chance to use it and tinker it to our liking a little bit. I think I only changed 2 cards, which were adding the Cinderellas. I'm not 100% sure, but props to him for this deck. It's really good, and hopefully I'll get to go to the Catterday tournament. Gamer Gauntlet is holding in Michigan this coming weekend, I believe. It's either this weekend or next weekend, I'm not 100% sure. But if you're in the Michigan area, you should definitely go check that out. We might be driving all the way from Kentucky to go to it. But if we do not, I'm pretty sure we will be at the ARG Open Circuit in St. Louis, Missouri, June 7th. Again, that's something I'm not 100% sure on. But if you are there as well, feel free to say hi, and we will, if you want, we can do a deck profile of your deck before, after, or during the tournament. Doesn't matter to me, if you just want to be on YouTube. So until then, see you.